Hari Om, Namaste everybody. Welcome to this webinar 300. It is very heartening for us at the Fawai Forum to get together this evening for the 300th webinar under the banner of Fawai Forum. And I was very particular 2 months ago that no other than Dr. Hegde should present this 300th webinar. And we are very happy that he could adjust this in his schedule and he is presenting the 300th webinar. And the topic is exciting. We have landed, but have we arrived? I was just thinking in my mind, we have logged in, but have we started the webinar? But yes, we have started now after all these technical snags. Dr. Thimappa Hegde does not need introduction. Many of you have listened to him in Fawai Forum webinars also. A good number of you have heard him on various other platforms in India and abroad. He is a prolific speaker, professionally a neurosurgeon of great reputation, and very passionate about the quest of truth, and has been traveling together with a number of spiritual seekers, a large number of people, especially in Bengaluru, are getting together. Olden days offline, nowadays online, and exploring Upanishads and number of allied texts. While he moderates it all, he also makes them speak, makes them express themselves, and in many other ways too, keeps the whole process alive and vibrant. We are indeed delighted to know him for many years now. It was in 2014 that I met him first time in the School of Ancient Wisdom. So that way, 11 years long, we in Fawai Forum have known him. It has been most enriching. And with these words, since we already have lost some time already, I request the presenter of this evening, Dr. Thimappa Hegde, to share his thoughts on You have landed, but have you arrived home?
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. A great opportunity you have given me, particularly this 300th special webinar that has been going on, and you have given me so many other previous opportunities to come on this forum. How did this topic come about? I'm not going to use slides. I will just speak, and we have lost a lot of time. I'll try to make it a little brief also. There was a hoarding outside Bangalore airport, and that is how I got this catchy title. It's read, "You have landed, have you arrived?" And it makes us think, what is our own definition of having arrived? Of course, it was a property developer. He had a picture of a beautiful villa. And according to him, if you are an owner of such a villa, maybe you would consider yourself to be having arrived in life. What would we consider as having arrived? Is it all the success in the world? Is it great fame, that you are a celebrity known to so many people? Have you done some outstanding contribution, great recognition? We have things like the Nobel Prize. Now, we aspire for all this. So what would we consider as having arrived? Let me share a story. This is a story some of you would be familiar with. It was a story of a certain fisherman who was relaxing early morning on Kovalam beach. The sun was rising, the weather was extremely nice, and around the same time, there was a very rich person also from Kerala, but who was an investment banker in the United States in New York. He had made a lot of money. His investments were very good. He had come on a holiday. And he comes back to Kovalam beach and he sees this fisherman lying on the beach early in the morning, smoking. And as all his investments were so good, he thought he would give some advice to that fisherman and possibly even help him financially. So he asked him, "Who are you? What are you doing?" He said, "I'm a fisherman. I went out in the sea last night. I got some fish. My wife is selling them." But he was shocked that he could do little more with his life. He says, I can lend you some money. You can buy a power boat, motorboat. You can go deeper into the sea. You can catch more fish. You can employ a lot of people. And then what shall I do? The fisherman asked him. He was smoking and possibly had some alcohol with him also. He says, then you will be rich. And he says, then what will I do? He says, you can enjoy life. So the man says, what do you think I'm doing right now? So one question we need to have, is it all the wealth in the world or is it my capacity to enjoy? Is it my ability to experience this moment so fully? What do we really want in life? All of us want to be able to live in peace. We want to be secure. We want happiness. And this happiness, this peace, this security is not a momentary peace or security or happiness. It is something that we want to be a lasting peace, lasting happiness, and lasting security. Let me tell you one more story. This is a story of Swami Vivekananda. He had become a celebrity after his talk at Chicago, and a lot of people would come to see him. Among them was a very famous doctor from the United States. And he comes and says, Swamiji, I'm an extremely busy doctor. I make a lot of money. My time is extremely precious, but I know one thing for sure, that you have accomplished something extraordinary. I can see that you have accomplished something extraordinary. In a short time of about 30 minutes, can you tell me the secret of your accomplishment? And I can see there is something of radiance about you. So Swamiji looks at him and he says, I've heard about you. I heard that you're a very famous doctor, a person of great accomplishments. Can you tell me something about yourself? How did you achieve whatever you have achieved? He says, Swamiji, it's a very big story, but he was very happy to speak about himself. He spoke right from his early days, he was brilliant in school, how he got admissions to the Johns Hopkins, which was one of the best medical schools at that time. And then he trained not only in the United States, he went to Europe to some of the best schools. And then he said, here I am, one of the best universities in the United States. I've had years of experience. And that's how I got where I got. So by that time, the intelligent doctor got the secret. And what is the secret? Any accomplishment in life, whether it may be in the professional field or in the personal field, is a product of years and years of, in a spiritual language, I will say sadhanas. We do not become an overnight success. Whenever a person becomes a great success, you see a finished product. You don't see what they have accomplished. So what I would like to say is, what we want is, we want to be fulfilled in life, we want to be successful in life. At the same time, we want to be happy, we want to be fulfilled. Now, there is a nice mantra for those of us students of Vedanta, and this comes in Mundaka Upanishad, and that mantra says, Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahmana. That means a person who has examined his life. One thing you will realize, that any form of worldly accomplishment cannot be utterly fulfilling. There is some basic defect in all worldly accomplishment. Three things. One is called, it is admixed with sorrow. To accomplish something great, you would have to give up a lot of things. There is a struggle to achieve, the struggle to maintain that position, and whether you like it or not, you're going to lose it at some time. The second truth about all worldly accomplishment is, even though you have achieved so much, there is also always a feeling, there is more to accomplish, more money, more fame, more and more. that is what is called atripti karatvam. That feeling of tripti is never there. And the most dangerous of all success, there is a saying that nothing fails like success. And what is that? Nothing fails like success. Whenever you become very successful, what happens? You develop a certain attachment to your success. And without that, you can't do it. Now, when we come into the spiritual world, there is always a question, is there some goal in this world that is free from all these defects? And that is possible only when you come into a spiritual field. And that is where we come to a guru. And once you come, and those of us, honestly, I can say among what Sri Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, Manushyanam Sahasreshu. Among the thousands and thousands of the people, we are those selected few who have got an opportunity to come under the blessing of a guru, who have come into spiritual knowledge. And once you come to a guru, the guru makes certain things very clear. Whenever there is a problem, don't try to find the fault for your problem. Try to look inwards to see where is the problem. Invariably, the problem will be somewhere in the way I see the world, or somewhere the problem is in my own ignorance about who I am. A spiritual teacher also makes us feel and understand the strength of our mind. There is a nice mantra in the Amrita Bindu Upanishad which goes like this: Mana eva manushyanam karana bandha mokshe. The mind is the cause of bondage. The same mind, if properly trained, can be the cause of freedom. Now, how is my mind the cause of all my bondage, and how is the mind? Spiritual teachers, Sri Krishna, right in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, when Sri Krishna wanted to get Arjuna back into the battlefield, gave this very powerful verse: Matra Sparsha Sukhaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Duk Adaha Agama Pahino Anityaha Tamstitikshasva Bharata. When you come into the spiritual field, for that matter, any field, you have to be mentally strong, because problems will be coming. And whenever there is an interaction with sense organs, with the sense objects, heat, cold, sukha, dukkha, they come and go. But the secret is anityaha, they are not permanent. And the only way is tam stitikshasva bharata. Now, once you go to a teacher, the teacher has a technique of teaching that is called Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhuti. The teacher introduces you spiritual knowledge through certain texts like the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. The beauty of the style of our with Upanishadic or Vedantic teaching is it should be based on yukti or logic. Unless the logic appeals to me, I'm not going to be impressed. And then it should be anubhuti, based upon my experience. And the teacher tries to tell us, see, all of us want, what do we want? We want to be happy. We want to be in peace. And we want to be secure. And not secure just for this moment. I want to have lasting peace, lasting security, and lasting happiness. So the teacher tries to tell us, can you give me one example where you have all this? You have, indescribable peace, security, and happiness. And that situation all of us go through every day is in the form of deep sleep. When I'm in deep sleep, the kind of, happiness that I have, that is why whenever I do my rounds with my patients and I see a person fast asleep, I'm extremely hesitant to wake them up, because I know that they may be in the hospital, they may be in an ICU going through so much of medical and psychological issues. But when a person is fast asleep, he is completely unaware of his disease, unaware of the seriousness of the problem. And you see that kind of bliss. And the moment they wake up, they become aware of all these problems. So you will see whenever we are asleep, we have no problems. Why? Because we see no limits at all. When there is no limits, we experience anantatvam, that state of limitlessness. And according to Vedanta, Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Anantam and Anandam go together. Wherever I experience limitlessness, what happens the moment I wake up? The moment I wake up, I become aware of time, what time it is. I become aware of place, and I become aware of identification with the body. And the moment these three comes, with body identification, I experience limitations. With time, I have a problem with time. I have to run, and then there is I am here, I am not everywhere. We are extremely fortunate that, thanks to Swami Chinmayananda and his illustrious Guru Parampara, this great teaching, which can give us permanent peace, permanent security, permanent happiness, gives us fulfillment in life. This is possible even without leaving our homes. In those days, Swami Chinmayananda had to travel so far to the Himalayas, but he's been able to bring through his own students, like Swamiji himself, that this wisdom has come to us. And I can reiterate again, what a blessing for us it has been that we have got the taste of the Bhagavad Gita, the taste of the Upanishads, because Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahman. Complete worldly success does not necessarily become fulfilled. So we have to work on fulfillment in life through spiritual knowledge. Stephen Covey, in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and fortunately for us, our Swamiji, Swami Chidananda ji, when he was in the US, had an opportunity to meet with and also discuss with this great teacher, Stephen Covey. In his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, there is one habit which talks about time management, which is the third habit. He calls it first things first. He later on developed an entire book on time management with the same title, First Things First. And there he brings about his definition of fulfillment in life under 4 headings. First is to learn, second is to live, third is to love, and fourth is legacy. That means if you have to be fulfilled in life, you have to learn techniques of not only success, but also learn techniques to be fulfilled in life. You then have to learn to live, you have to learn love, and then you have to be able to share whatever you have. Let us quickly go back to the Upanishadic wisdom, from where we have got so much of our learning. If you will see, the Upanishads begin with a question. All Upanishads begin with one question or the other. And I have selected 3 of these Upanishads, and which begin with such wonderful question. And one of them is the Mundaka Upanishad. In the Mundaka Upanishad, the student is Shaunaka, the teacher is Angirasa, and the most brilliant question the student comes to the teacher is, Bhagavan, what is that knowing which everything worth knowing is known? I'm not going to the Sanskrit verses for want of time. What is that knowing which everything is known? Now that means the Upanishad, and the teacher addresses that in the entire Kathopanishad, about that thing that is worth knowing. And if you will see, Mundaka Upanishad addresses that which is worth knowing is about the existent principle. There is another Upanishad which is so much like neurology, and that is why I say where neurology ends, the Kenopanishad begins. In the Kenopanishad, the student has a very, I will say, a medical or neurological question. The teacher is asked, Bhagavan, that's how you address the teacher. I'm able to see, I'm able to hear, I'm able to speak. There is life going on. What deva, or because of what all these things happen? And the teacher begins to introduce that entity, that enlivening principle, which we call Chit. And then there is another Upanishad in the Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya is very big with many multiple master-student interaction, where there is a student, Narada, and Narada goes to his cousin brother, older brother, Sanat Kumara, and with a very pertinent question. I am I have access to all the lokas. I have access to all the Trimurtis. I am as knowledgeable as you can. He gives his entire, all that he knows and all his skills that he has acquired. But he says that sense of Purnatvam, the sense of fulfillment is not there. And Sanat Kumara is able to understand him. And he gives him that Upanishadic vidyā which we are all looking for. And that Purnatvam comes from what is called Bhuma Vidya. Bhuma means limitlessness. Now, this is just like we work on successes for worldly success. Like if you have to be a doctor, so many years in medical school, then post graduation, then special training, and then years of experience. So a doctor takes so many years. So too, the Upanishadic and the Gita studies, it is not one day study or a few years study. It is years of consistent study where a person is able to get that gist of what Sri Krishna, when Arjuna asked Sri Krishna, when a person becomes spiritually awakened, how will you describe that person? Sthita prajna ka bhasha. And Sri Krishna replies, the one person who's atmanevatmana tushtaha. That person who is able to revel in himself, who's able to discover Purnatvam himself. Purnatvam in himself, not in my body, because I know my body has limitations. My body is mortal and limited. I know the limitations of my mind. But through this Vedantic wisdom, I understand that I'm not body or mind. I am a combination where the body mind is only an instrument. I am that Atma Tattva, which in itself is limitless, which has no beginning, which has no end. And the more I understand and I'm anchored in that Atma Tattva, few things happen as a byproduct. Now, as I said, this takes years, and this is only a finished product, like an enlightened master, like what we see in our Swamijis. And this is what they express, that from now on, there is no need to prove anything to anybody. That that state of tripti, there's nothing to do, there is nothing, nowhere to go, there's nothing to gain, there is nothing to lose. Then what do you do? And Swami Anubhavanandan had to say this, where are you staying? In Karnataka. So Karnataka, see yourself as an actor playing your role, and whatever roles you have to do, play your role 100%. And and then whatever we give a lot of importance to, we now learn to give less importance to anything material. This is what is called vairagya. When vairagya comes in, what happens to my body, what happens to my mind, what happens to my family, my investments, my profession, my friends, all become less important, because this is called vairagya. So once viveka is sat asat viveka, I give more importance to that Atma Tattva. Everything anatma is less important. And when I give less importance to all these things, they cease to bother me. There is a great feeling of what in that Adi Shankara's, there is a nice composition, Asangoham, 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 Punah Punah. Sometimes when you see the definition of a sthita prajna, there it is said that in sorrow you're not so sorrowful. Dukkeshu anuvigna manaha sukeshu vigatasparaha vitaraga bhaya krodha. Now, you will see that is too ideal. This perfect mind is like a perfect gas. I know all this stuff. I know I am Atma Brahma. But then I have a limited body. I have a monkey mind. And this monkey mind of mine has got various vasanas that have been formed in this life and my past life. And these vasanas or the samskaras are so strong. And they make me feel that even though there is spiritual knowledge, you are far from, having got it. Fortunately, our teachers say, let the limitations of the mind be limitations of the mind. Work more and more on deepening your understanding that I am someone other than the body. The problems of the body are problems of the body. The problems of the mind are problems of the mind. Certainly, once you have a certain spiritual wisdom, you live naturally a little more slow, more aware, more in real time rather than psychological time. And after some time, a spiritually evolved person has accomplished person, but such a person cannot be a lazy person. Again, very well brought out in the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna himself says, I am the Lord of the all three worlds, but yet I am working here as a driver. Yad yad acharati shrestha. Those who have accomplished people, they have to be role models. So, what have we seen? See, let me look from three angles. What have I learned? Have I worked on spiritual wisdom? And I understand for myself, I am not this perishing body mind complex. I am Atma Brahma. I am here forever. And as Atma, there is really no problems. As body mind, there is no complete solution to any problem. And as Atma, there is no problem. Let this be anchored and let me live my life like a Sthita Prajna. It has to be fake it before you make it. How do we do that? Dhanyosmi, I'm so blessed. Kritakrityosmi, that means for the sake of fulfillment, I have nothing else to do, because now I know as Atma there is nothing to do, there is nowhere to go. I'll come to the third point. How does a person, a Brahma Jnani, how does such a person live his life? The same hoarding, you have landed, have you arrived? When it was given to another spiritual teacher, his interpretation was this. He said, if I have been able to give love and receive love. So this is again what Stephen Covey says. Life can be fulfilled and meaningful if you can relate in the space of giving love and receiving love. Ordinary love is love with attachment. Whenever there is love with attachment, there is possessiveness. And when possessiveness comes in all the problems that come with love. But an accomplished person who has Atman evatmana tushtaha has nothing to seek from anybody else. He's so full of himself. Atmarati, Atmani tushtaha. For such a person, he's able to give love and does not expect love. Bhagwan Ramana was once asked, how do you treat others? And immediately his answer was, there are no others. And that's how an enlightened person sees, because everybody is included in the definition of I. Now, can we give some worldly example? Sometimes your own teeth bites your own tongue. It has happened. So there is somebody who's got hurt and somebody who's hurting. And when this happens, will you get so angry with your teeth because it has hurt your tongue? You see, there are differences. There is somebody who's got hurt and someone who's who's causing the hurt. And yet I see differences, but I don't differentiate. I am able to see both as none other than myself. Now, this is a great awakening. Mother Teresa, who was able to dedicate her life to the service of the poor, said she was motivated by one line from Lord Jesus, who said, whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. Whatsoever you do to the least of my sisters, that you do unto me. Now, when a person is spiritually evolved and you are able to see everyone as not other than yourself, is there a verse in the Bhagavad Gita? Of course, there is a beautiful verse in the 6th chapter which goes like this. Atma pammena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sa yogi paramo mataha. Shri Krishna very humbly says, this is my opinion. Mataha, this is my opinion. And what is my opinion? Atma pammena sarvatra. If you are able to see everyone like yourself, if there is no distinction at all, such a person is a yogi. Such a person is highly evolved. So, what have we touched on? If you have to live a fulfilled life, I need to work on understanding that fulfillment comes through spiritual wisdom, and that takes years of training. Fortunately, our own study of the Gita and the Upanishads, and hopefully one day we will be able to say Atmaneva Atmana Tushta. I will be able to live a life where I have nothing to do, nothing to accomplish, nothing to prove to anybody. And that's how I live my life 100%, playing my role very sincerely, but not seriously, because I know I am someone other than the role. And then how do I relate to other people as myself? I'm able to see love as identification, the whole world. And then finally, we come to the point of legacy. What is my contribution? I have a few very nice quotes. One is from George Gurdjieff, a Russian mystic, who said, "Whatever I have given away, I have. Whatever I have kept for myself, I have lost." I will repeat again. Whatever I have given away, I have. Whatever I've kept for myself, I have lost. Another beautiful poem from Rabindranath Tagore, where the poem goes like this, where Tagore says, "I had gone a begging when your golden chariot appeared in a distance, and it was like a gorgeous dream." It was like suddenly, for a beggar, God appeared in a golden chariot, and suddenly my hopes rose high. I was waiting for alms to be given unasked and for wealth to be scattered in the dust. And to my good luck, the chariot stopped where I stood, and I felt that the luck of my life had come at last. And then uh, suddenly, the Lord approached me and put his hand out and says, "What do you have to give me?" I was confused, undecided, shocked, and from my begging bag, I took a tiny little grain and gave it to the Lord. And how great was my surprise at the end of the day when I emptied my collection to see one tiny little gram of gold among all the grain that I collected. I wept bitterly and I wished I had the heart to give thee my all. Now, this is what, the more you give, the more you get. But does a jnani want anything? Jnani is Atman Evatmana Tushta. He's multidimensionally full. And here we are not giving for the sake of giving. Uh, we are giving because it's like a rain loaded cloud. It has to shower. It has to give. It unburdens itself. Or like a flower giving its fragrance to the wind. It does not matter because it has that fragrance to give. Um, so, as far the feeling of a jnani is danyosmi kritakrityosmi. Jnani is being able to say, "I have lived, I have loved, I have done everything that I have could wanted to do. Life has been so utterly fulfilling. Life has been a blessing." I'd like to conclude with what I heard from Bhagwan Osho. Osho was giving a talk on his birthday, and it was one talk that impressed me a great deal. And he said, "This was the day I came into this world, and for the first time I saw the green of the leaves and the blue in the sky." And he was speaking to his group, and he says, "I was thinking, what is that I can give it to you on this day?" And I remembered a verse from Gautama Buddha. And Gautama Buddha had said, "Sabbha danam, dhanna danam janati." Of all the gifts, the best gift that you can give is the gift of your own understanding. Now, if you have learned spiritual wisdom, if you have lived, if you have loved, the best thing that you can do is share your understanding. And what happens is, this is one of the great forms of nididhyasanam. I think in Yoga Vashishta, there is a quote which says, "Tat chintanam, tat katanam, anyon tat prabodhanam." You impart this to others. Etad ekat paratvamsa. Brahma Vida, the knowers of Brahman, says this is what is called nididhyasana. nidityasanam. I'm not able to get the exact phrase. Tat chintanam, tat kathanam, anyon tat prabodhanam, etad eka parattvamcha viduhu pudaha. This is what the wise people say. Anyway, so what Gautama Buddha is considered one of the most successful and spiritual teachers because it was his wish to take as many people into that domain called nirvana. He wanted as many people as possible, and it is said that if you see the hit rate or the success rate that he's had was the highest. There is one Buddhist sutra. It is called the Hridayam Sutra. The Hridayam Sutra, strangely, is in Sanskrit. Almost all the Buddhist sutras are in Pali, but this is in Sanskrit. And the whole of the Hridayam Sutra is a discussion between Gautama Buddha and his student who's on the verge of enlightenment. And towards the end, Gautama Buddha gives his student a mantra and he praises that mantra. He says, this is the mantra of mantras. It is the greatest mantra because this is the mantra of enlightenment. And he says, Tadayata, it goes like this. Gate, gate, para, gate, parasam, gate, bodhi, swaha. The words gate means gone. In Sanskrit, it means gone, gone, gone beyond, gone altogether beyond. Now, what are the four stages of a person or the four stages that you go through? The first stage is when you first come to a spiritual teacher, the teacher will tell you for the first time, you are not just this body mind complex. You are body mind plus Atma. The teacher will teach you in stage one that there is something called the Atma within you. Just like hand and light. Light is not part of my hand. It is not a property of my hand. It's not a product of my hand. It's an independent entity that makes my hand visible. So too, consciousness or the Atma Tattva is not part of your body, a product or a property of your body. It's an independent entity which makes my body conscious, which makes my body alive. And when the body drops, consciousness continues to survive, but it cannot manifest for want of a body to manifest. So if I identify with that Atma, even if the body drops, I continue to be. And this is the first level of understanding that I am not just this body, but I am body plus consciousness, stage one. That is gate. Gate, gate, paragate, parasam gate. Four levels. What is level two? Level two, the more you are with the teacher and the teachings, you will realize that your identification with the body mind becomes less and less. The identification with the Atma Tattva become more and more. I become more and more aligned, and you begin to say, I am consciousness with an incidental body. So when you wake up in the morning, the role play is I put on my body mind and then I play my role, trying to remember all the time I am Atma Brahma and this body mind is only an instrument for my interaction. Then there is another jump. This jump is the Mahavakya stage. When I identify that this Atma Tattva consciousness in me is the same in everybody. Sri Bhagavan in the 13th chapter says, Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. That consciousness in me is the same in everybody. And this is where I'm able to see love as identification. I have gone to stage 4. Gate, gate, paragate. What is parasam gate? Parasam gate is also called Eka Jiva Vada. Eka Jiva Vada means what? I alone am. Other than me, there is nobody else. Just like the dreamer creates a dream body and that dream body interacts with the dream world. So the dreamer has created a body, the dreamer has created a world, and then the dreamer forgets that he has created the body. And now, when the body interacts with the world, you suffer or you enjoy. So, as long as you are dreaming, you are a creature in your own dream. But what is the truth? You are not the creature in your dream. You are the creator of your dream. This is what is stage 4. Stage 4 is the understanding that I, because of my Atma, because of my Maya Shakti, I am able to create this entire world. My eva sakalam jatam, my sarvam pratishtitam, my sarvam layam yati. I create this world, I sustain this world, and this whole world rests in me. This whole world is not apart from me. And this is what is called that Eka Jiva Vada, or I alone am. And if this shall be my insistence, I will conclude again with that great quote from Kathopanishad, which um, was made famous by Swami Vivekananda. Now, for those of us who have been exposed to a guru like Swami Chidananda ji, who have been exposed to these teachings, let this be, awake, arise, uttishtata, jagrata, prapyavaran, nibodhata. Obtain a teacher and enlighten yourself. Shurasya dara nishitam durattaya. Now, this spiritual path is not easy, it is durgam. Those who know, they will say this is not an easy path, it is a difficult path, but it is possible. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
Hari Om. Now it's okay if I speak, or still there is echo?
It's okay, you can speak.
There is echo, Swamiji?
No echo.
Achha. Thank you very much, Thimappa ji. It was a wonderful summary, very brief and very, in a way, very detailed, and in a way, in a short moment, you have given a very nice summary. The path for a sadhak to reach the goal. Thank you very much. You are welcome again and again. Yes, Pranam Swamiji would like to say a few words.
I guess echo started.
You have to mute yourself.
Yeah. I guess now there's no echo. I guess we should give a chance to other participants to express their reactions, ask questions. So after 5 or 10 minutes after that, we may have the formalities. I will definitely say something. I guess Durgesh Kadalbaju has raised her hand.
Yeah. Hari Om, and thank you very much for this enlightening session. I had one little doubt for myself, as we were told that give less importance to material thing is vairagya. So which I am trying to do, but my conflict comes material things, okay, but what about people? Because giving less importance to material thing at this stage is not an impossible task, but giving less importance to people, especially your immediate circle, that is for me becoming a hurdle in my whatever I want to path. So I don't know if this is the forum for this, but because it was said, so once again, thank you very much. So this was my question, or rather request to know how to work on this.
I will attempt to answer, but Swamiji is there as a backup. Now, when we are in a spiritual path, for the time being, let us be selfish. Selfish in the sense, we are here for permanent peace, permanent security, permanent happiness. All right. Now, one question to you and to everybody. Whatever we give a lot of importance to, whatever, it may be persons, objects or situations, whatever we give a lot of importance to, that something is the cause of all the problems in our life. True or not? Now, therefore, when you come into the spiritual path, one of the things is Atma, Anatma, Viveka. So we are told, give importance to everything that is Atma, give less importance to anything Anatma. What is Atma? The consciousness principle. What is Anatma? my body, my mind, my family, my friends, my possessions, my profession, my everything. I know what you're saying is very true. I'm with you as far as all these things are concerned. But when you're in the spiritual path, we have to train ourselves to give less importance to anatma, because ultimately, whom do we love most? We love this body of ours most. We see the body getting old, we feel the body getting sick, and one day we have to let go of this body. Now, if I have to live a full life, true sannyas is body disidentification. And if I can have a body disidentification to the extent possible, then the rest of it is, because with the body comes my family, with the body comes my possessions. So this is my perspective. I know it's difficult, but this is it.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Jagan, go ahead. Turn your mic on.
Yes, Swamiji. Pranams, Swamiji. And thank you, Doctor, for this wonderful exposition. I was just wanting to add to what Dr. Ji was saying. In fact, I was reminded of the verse which I was reading today morning, which also has in it the pointers that Dr. Ji was trying to share. The beautiful shloka which we have in the 10th chapter, where Madgata, Madchittaha, Madgata Pranaha, and where that beautiful thing which Dr. Ji was saying of Parasparam Bodayantaha and Katayantah Mam Nityam, and such people alone, the Lord finishes that shloka with that beautiful thing, Tushyanticha Ramanticha. So if we have to see and we have to revel in the joy, I think we have to share. And I was reminded of Dr. G's suggestion of sharing from the perspective of legacy. So thank you so much for this wonderful, inspiring session, Dr. G. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Pranams.
There is one question from YouTube. I have pasted there in the chat box. Looking at others as ourselves in a very pleasant mood, this is possible? How to continue to be with a sense of fullness consistently?
I did not get the question, Vibhaji.
Can Dr. Hegde open the chat box? You know that there is one chat.
Okay, all right.
If you click on that,
all right,
you will yourself be able to read.
Yeah.
Parvati Jayadev has asked that question.
When Vibhaji, I think it's down.
Yeah, further down.
Because my voice is echoing, so Swamiji can...
That she thinks it's from YouTube.
Yes, yes.
When Vibhaji...
I pasted on the Zoom, it is from YouTube.
You have pasted it.
Yes.
Vibhaji?
Looking at others as ourselves.
Okay. Looking at others. Okay, you have to please mute. Let me read. Looking at others as ourselves in a very pleasant mood, is this possible? How to continue to be with a sense of fullness consistently? Looking at others ourselves. See, we have to train ourselves with our own self. We are okay. That means When my teeth bites my own tongue, I forgive my teeth, even though my tongue is bleeding, because my teeth and my tongue there are differences, I differentiate. Now, within my own family, if some family member says something unpleasant, now do I complain to anybody? I can't complain to anybody because that person is like me. I swallow my own pain within myself. Now, now we have gone one level beyond to now. Remember what I quoted from the word of Jesus: "Whatsoever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me." Now, if I'm able to see, I mean, this is a great vision. If I have that kind of vision and that kind of empathy that I'm able to see others as myself, if I have understood this question, looking at others as ourselves in a very pleasant mood, is it possible? Of course, certain training and through mental evolution, is it possible? How to continue with a sense of fullness consistently? Remind yourself of spiritual wisdom all the time. Because when I give more, as anatma, as body mind, there is no complete solution to any problem. Problems after problems after problems. As atma, no problem. So what do I do? Log on to the reality that I am Atma, Brahma, play the role of my costume, and see how you can do Karnatak. That's my thoughts, Swamiji.
Yes, that is the lofty Vedanta ideal. Yeah. Seeing others as no different from us is the highest ideal. Seeing others as brothers and sisters, seeing others as part of our family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, is a little more tangible. So we must go as high as is possible. Well said. Looks like there is no other question or comment. I must say this webinar has made all of us very happy, starting with the simple story of a fisherman who is already relaxed and the businessman asks him to make a lot of money and then relax. That's a very wonderful story and it is timeless. You and I should stop and should pause and ask ourselves, what are we chasing? What are we after? Will we be really happier after we get that? After we get that? Isn't happiness to be discovered right now, here itself? So, starting with that simple story, Dr. Hegde proceeded to bring forth the wisdom of inner fulfillment, how it is possible by spiritual learning. He drew from Upanishads, he drew from the Gita, and he also quoted from the Bible or biblical stories. Thus, it was indeed a feast. It was a feast to our ears, to our intellect, more importantly. This is how scriptures are of great help to us, Shastras. So, Shastras are the material, and speakers first do reflection on that material, and in their speeches, like Dr. Hegde did today, they share what they have deeply enjoyed, appreciated, what they themselves found as very useful in their life. They share with the audience. I'm confident that everyone enjoyed this webinar, and on behalf of all, I too would thank Dr. Hegde for joining us and throwing light on so many Vedanta concepts. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha.
There is one question on chat box. Hegdeji, there is one question on chat box. Would you like to
Yeah,
answer?
please. Right. Veda RB has asked.
How to control our emotions and overcome the toughest situations. Okay. How to overcome our emotions and the toughest situations. I do not know I know, see, on the one hand, suffering is real. When you have a family member going through some distress, because I know who's the one who's asking the question. So when you have a family member who's going through some difficulty and you are the caregiver and the immediate, and you are the caregiver, I can appreciate the suffering that you can go through. So whatever I say will only be theoretical. I would work on this way, that ultimately whatever difficulties are, these are all temporary. Remember that matra sparsha sukhaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaya agama pahino anityaha. The difficulty that your mother is going through now is temporary. It's a matter of time and she is going to recover. She has just been through a major surgery. She has gone through a lot of difficulty. She will recover. So what will be our working framework? Our waking framework will be a positive attitude that all shall be well. We invoke healing powers, bring in, our prayers to God, our prayers to give ourselves our own strength to handle these difficult moments. I am certain that she will get better, like the family has gone through other problems in the past. You will also recover and become well. So be mentally strong, be hopeful, and you will have the grace of God on your mother and yourself that you will be able to overcome these emotional difficulties. Swamiji, is there anything else you would want to add to that?
Yeah, very, very nicely. You have, I think, amplified or elaborated that word agama paina. It comes, it goes. We must know that no joy, no sorrow lingers on too long. It will go. So we must have patience. Agama, it comes. Apai, it goes. Very well said. Yeah, the questioner has thanked you also. Thank you so much, sir. She has written. If there are no other questions, Vibhaji may make any concluding comments or remarks.
But if I speak, there's an echo, so is there echo right now?
No.
No comments, but really we enjoyed this very nice. It was a really great summary, and the question answers also were giving us a good way to solve the certain problems which were discussed. Everything was fine, and I invite you again whenever time permits to you, Dr. Hegdeji, to this forum. Hari Om.
Very good.